Hello and welcome to the Property Talk podcast from RWinvest, bringing you tips and advice on all things property investment.
So looking at the Manchester market now, it's obvious, it's the fastest growing city outside of London. Manchester's now one of the capitals of Europe, many people are saying. So, I mean, the regeneration projects, you're looking at 40 billion HS2 link, the 1.5 billion pound Spinning Fields expansion, I think that's 430 square metres of commercial, residential and retail space. So, around this area, Pomona Island, brand new island on the water next door to our new release Merchant Wharf, it's inevitable that, we're looking at easily on top of 6.5 billion pounds worth of investment moving on the doorstep of Merchant Wharf right now. If we look what's going on around the area, looking at Manchester Waters project by Peel, that's the Pomona Island. So that's a 26-acre dockland site which is being transformed. So one of the reasons we looked at Merchant Wharf, alongside Legacy, working with this developer who, we've had a tremendous track record with. We can see the potential with a new bridge actually being developed just opposite this site, giving you access into Dean's Gate, which will be about 2 to 3 minutes walk. Looking in the opposite direction, we've got Media City. We know it's an exciting dynamic centre for the creative and digital industry with 650 million. So you've got the likes of Google, BBC, ITV, Granada, and Kellogg's as well. So that's actually up and running, as we know, worldwide now, well known, and over 25,000 staff. So they're actually set to undergo a further £1 billion phase 2 expansion over the next 3 to 5 years, I believe. With regards to the actual site itself, you were looking at a fully funded site, which is very exciting, provides a lot of reassurance. This is from one of the most cash-rich developers we've ever worked with in the industry, over 17 previous completed sites, GDV of in excess of 350 million. So we look at the last two previous sites, Roadmaker Place, Reliance House, all fully tenanted, fully funded, and big success stories, which has prompted us to work inside of Merchant Wharf with Legacy. When we look at, the price per square foot, for example, we're looking at Liverpool prices in Manchester city centre. So the average price per square foot around Liverpool is around 300, 280 if we're looking at some of our previous successful sites. But if we look at Manchester, you're looking in excess of 450 to 500 pound per square foot. So for the investors who are, very savvy with numbers, that's exactly what would, pick my ears up to this investment. Something with tremendous potential capital growth in one of the most exciting areas developing.
Investors often say to me, Craig, why Manchester? Why should I be investing in this city as opposed to some of the others? And again, it's common knowledge that it's the fastest growing city outside of London, but a lot of people don't understand the numbers behind that. So, there are 7.2 million people within an hour of the city centre, and the forecasts are showing that it's set to grow by 14.1% in the next couple of decades. So just to put that into real terms, there's over 1 million people, all of whom, all of which need somewhere to live. Now that is one of the key things driving house price growth in the city. 24.1% over the next 4 years is the latest forecast from Savills, and that to me, you keep it really simple: supply and demand. There's a huge demand, a limited supply. They just cannot build fast enough, and that is one of the main reasons that we recommend Manchester.
Let's take a look at Merchant Wharf, Craig. So the prices start on some of the one beds we've taken a look. We've actually had investors who've bought 10s, 20s of properties off us. They've heard brief, partial information of this site, and the minute we mentioned prices will start from around 149,950. We had some investors clawing for, can I get on the reserve list? Can I put some money down to take the first 10, the first 15, the first 20? But realistically, we work for our investors, so we look to achieve some really strong discounts. So prices from 149,950 with the potential of some greater discounts. You physically could not lose money on this site. This is Liverpool prices, as I say, in central Manchester. So, we look at it again, Craig, the best price per square foot. I've got notes down, on my desk, when I speak to people about this since we released the site. Best price per square foot on the city, with the average apartment £320 per square foot. So, in essence, if you're looking at a rental between £800 to £1,000 for a luxury finished 1-bedroom apartment. And bear in mind, these are fully furnished. You're looking at quartz worktops. You're actually looking in excess of 6.5% yield for central Manchester. That's ridiculous. That's Liverpool yields. People look at Liverpool for the yields. Imagine you can get these yields in the main city of Europe at the moment for investment, Manchester. Definitely worthwhile considering this site for that reason.
Is it fair to say that we haven't seen a price like this for 10 years, maybe 15 years in Manchester?
The last sites, dating back, I've been here about 5.5 years now. I actually haven't seen a site which offers a yield of 6.5%. Reflecting the price, I was selling 1-bedroom apartments around Salford Quays, about 5 years ago. The prices were in excess of 175 then, when you're looking at potential growth of 4 to 5% year on year anyway.
How do you think Legacy have been able to deliver such a competitive price per square foot? How have they been able to blow everybody else out of the water like this?
We know Legacy, how they've done in Liverpool. You got your Parliament Squares, your Roadmaker Place, your Reliance House have been very, very successful. All built from within Legacy, all sold with RWinvest. And then on top of that, what you're looking at now is they're wanting to broaden the horizon. They're looking at Manchester market, strong market. They want to solidify themselves in the Manchester market. And the way to do that, to acquire the land they want, to speak to the right people, they want to show that they've got the track record, not only in Liverpool, but in Manchester. So they're acquiring sites now. They're actually selling them much cheaper than they should, and they're building them much quicker than anyone else. They're setting a precedence in Manchester. Sell a site quickly, sell a site cheaply, get it built nice and quickly, acquire more land and build their reputation in Manchester.
So this is very much a statement of intent from Legacy on what they plan to do going forward in Manchester.
The difference is, obviously, they can say, well, they can apply what they've done in Liverpool to any major city. Of course they can, but you still have to build that reputation in other cities. You've got to acquire the land, you've got to build efficiently, you've got to build on time. We wouldn't be working with these developers if they couldn't work to our timelines, because our investors want the money as quick as possible, take that potential capital and rental growth out of that Manchester market and move on to the next investment.
Now, it's not just developers and tenants who are choosing Manchester as a destination. There's quite a few big employers, big household names who are moving into the city. Can you tell me anything more about those?
Well, if we're looking at 80 to FTSE 100 companies moved to offices around Media City, as I say, I went down to the Merchants Wharf site a few weeks back to have a little walk around. It's about 10-15 minute walk at most into the centre of Media City. If we're looking at the price growth forecast of 24.1%, around price growth around the city centre of Manchester, that's evident around Media City. Once Media City was up and running, years ago, I remember, we were starting out in Liverpool and the market was solely in Manchester and Media City. With this expansion now, you've got your big BBC, your ITV, your Google, all of these London-based companies, why people invest in London, they've moved to Manchester. It's a no-brainer in my eyes. You don't really have to give too much away other than to say, well, the BBC are literally located 10 minutes walk away from this site. What more do you want? What bigger names could you have in the UK right now other than the BBC and ITV? Google, for example. So, Craig, just on Legacy themselves, I've touched briefly on their track record in Liverpool. Can you tell us a bit more about the contractor, the returns paid out already, and the management they provide to offer a reassurance to potential buyers?
They're one of the largest and most reputable developers in the Northwest, and they are renowned for completing and tenanting sites very, very quickly. Now, this is evidenced really by some of the companies, the household names, who they contract for. So we've got the likes of Hilton, Hotel Indigo, Marco Pierre White, to name but a few. And what I really, really like about them is the management and letting side of their business. They are just as good, every bit as good, I should say, as Legacy contracts. And I believe they've paid out over £1.3 million in returns purely on the Reliance House development in Liverpool, which was one of my favourites.
Yeah. In a nutshell for me then, give you my opinion, the price per square foot's inevitably cheaper, no matter what you compare it to in Manchester. We were selling one beds over the last few days around the 140 mark with potential discounts. You can't lose money on that. It's evident when you can achieve further discounts on prices that are already cheap, you're going to do well. You're 2 minutes off the River Airwell, You're 5 minutes into media city, an economy worth £5 billion around that small area alone. Deansgate, I like to think, is one of the centre points of the city, is one tram stop away. So location-wise, it's Zone 1, Cornbrook tram stop is literally on the doorstep of Merchants Wharf with the new bridge being developed. So you couldn't be more central for Manchester, but you're paying half the price than what you would walking 5 minutes down the road into Deansgate. So I think the key factors for this site, in layman's terms, you're not paying £300,000 like most other developments in Manchester for a luxury 2-bed apartment with a central location. Nor the facilities. So you're looking at a gym, which we haven't mentioned. You've got 24-hour concierge, the parking. You're looking at quartz worktops, for example, on the finish, and the transport links really sell this site. So the finish is unbelievable, which I can send anyone who's interested. Previous examples from the likes of Roatmaker Place, Reliance House, I can send information on that. And Legacy are happy to take any questions if you have any as well, which is great news for us in order to sell these properties. But the location, as the transport links, the bars, the restaurants, the close proximity to even M1 if people are struggling, and Media City more than anything. It's a fully funded site, locked in. Prices are cheaper than anything else on the market. Price per square foot, there, location, facilities. For me, Craig, it's a very easy sale.
I mean, if you look around at other properties nearby in the M5 postcode, you can see 1-bedroom apartments available for £200,000 plus, all the way up to 280, 290. Now, what sort of price would I be looking at for a similar 1-bed apartment, similar spec? How much am I going to save by waiting for this to complete? So
I'm not going to name any names of previous sites we've worked with, previous developers. We've got some really strong developers who work with in Manchester, but just in comparison, if we're looking, let's say around the Arndale Centre, for example, let's not name any names. We have been selling 1-bedroom apartments, great quality. I mean, the thing is, you can get the great quality, and we do sell to a lot of owner-occupiers, but in terms of making the numbers work, people have moved to Liverpool to make the numbers work previously. If you can make the numbers work in Manchester, we were selling 1-beds at 250 to 300,000 pounds. Large 1-beds at 300,000 pounds. That's right. But as I say, when we looked at the site, if you can keep property prices in Manchester below even 175, they're not. It's a very easy sale. If you look at a 25% down, 75% loan to value, the developers are even open to, because of the finance they have in place, they're open to lower deposit levels on some occasions. For £50,000 to £80,000, you could have a solid investment for the next 10 years in central Manchester, which is only going one way.
So to be conservative, if I'm happy to wait 2 years for a site to complete, I'm going to save in excess of £50,000.
The minute this site completes, £50,000. The exit strategy is very easy as well. As I say, Media City is expanding the whole of the River Airwell around Pomola Island. That's expanding. So what you see in 2-3 years, you're looking at paying £140,000 to £150,000 for an initial 1-bed. You're looking upwards on some of the most expensive units around that area, £300,000, £500,000. It's affordability about Manchester now for me. Much like London, all people ever do, investors who come down from London, people from the Middle East, what they're looking for is affordability. What's going to give me the highest yield in Manchester? What am I going to get the most for my money? If the white goods are included, you're looking at quartz worktops, Italian tiles in the bathroom, for example, and you can get that for below even £200,000, plus with the potential discount off the list price. It's exciting times, and all we can hope for is the next phase of this. Since what I'm hearing on the floor is at least 30 sales even before initial release onto our website.
So thanks very much for listening. My name's Craig.
And I'm Lewis.
If you need any more information, details will be in the description below.
Take care.